Good afternoon and welcome to the post-purchase customer experience theater. My name is Kerry Sanders and I work for a company called EFI, which translates into electronics for imaging. And I'm here to hopefully share an interesting point of view with you today. We have limited time, so I'm going to jump right in. So, in e-commerce, it's especially difficult for brands to stand out and to build loyalty with their customers. And I think it's a consensus amongst marketing, e-commerce journey, logistics, that the most valuable customer is the customer that you can keep and create a repurchase scenario with. So today I'm going to talk to you about some of the strategies that we're seeing our customers develop in order to cut through and to drive loyalty. So here's our point of view. In the world of big advertising, always on media, a hyper focus on customer experience, we think that there's an important part of every customer journey that's being left off or being forgotten about, and that's corrugated packaging. So we did interviews with thought leaders, with marketing leaders, with third-party logistics companies, with retailers, and asked them their opinion about packaging as an important part of consumer experience or customer experience. And we kept hearing over and over again this theme about emotion, that packaging, for whatever reason, causes an emotional response if it's done well. And one of the thought leaders had this quote where he said, if a package is well designed, then it has the opportunity to bring the consumer back to the emotion where they were when they made the purchase. And I believe that's because all of us from this high as children have been trained to expect good things in packages because of birthdays and holidays. And so there's an emotion that you can tap into in order to drive better customer experience. To prove my point, I did a quick search on Google about emotion and packaging, 293 million responses. And I'm giving you a sense of how many articles there are about emotion and packaging and being a significant connection there. And you have an opportunity to capitalize on that. So here's some data, consider the data. So Cannes Lions and WARC, which is a media research agency, did a marketing effectiveness study back in 2020. And they landed on packaging as being the second most effective marketing channel for driving loyalty and repeat purchase, and more specifically, premium packaging. Over on the right-hand side is a data point from a third-party logistics company that said in their study, year on year, consumers that had received premium packaging as part of an e-commerce journey were 14 percentage points more likely to repeat purchase. In the middle, there's a recent Ad Age article about on-box advertising through Amazon. And what they found is the ad that's being printed on the outside of the Amazon e-commerce shipper is 4 times more effective than mail and digital advertising. Why is that? Because that ad lives in your house for days or hours instead of a digital ad that lives on your screen for milliseconds. Mail, you're not guaranteed to open. However, an ad on an e-commerce box, you are guaranteed to see and to take inside your house. So there's no surprise that boxes, packaging, experiences, and emotion are a very effective combination for cutting through and giving a good experience to drive loyalty. And there's a lot of conversations about retail and packaging as being the first moment of truth. Well, in an e-commerce journey, that package is actually the first physical brand touch point. Think about it, it's a virtual or a digital journey until the package arrives at the doorstep. And then it's a physical brand touch point that could potentially tap into that emotion that we spoke about. So why aren't brands and retailers making more of an effort on their corrugated packaging? This is what we've heard, that they're just not aware, or that it's too difficult, or print quality is good enough with what we have today, but they're not aware of how to improve it. Maybe it's too expensive. Maybe the corrugator that they're buying their packages from are causing them to make big orders, right, to fill up trucks, and so they're trying to simplify to keep costs down. And then the final one is that packaging is just too difficult to manage, and it always ends up being disconnected from the brand guidelines. So our point of view at EFI is that digital printing on corrugated materials like e-commerce packaging is a way for you to address some of these challenges and to drive better brand experiences and business outcomes. So, not all e-commerce shopping journeys are the same. Think about your own journey. Sometimes you go and log on to a marketplace like Amazon and you're buying bin bags and cat food and a toothbrush. They package all of that together in a shipper and they send it to you, and your expectations on branding are very low. However, recently, this innovation in marketing where influencers are combined with live stream shopping, if you are logging into that marketplace to have an experience with that influencer, your expectation on branding of the package that shows up is very different. And this is what this chart shows, that standard packaging in e-commerce journeys is migrating to more valuable expressions of brands based on what the journey is. Another example of this is SIOC, ship in own container. A lot of brands now are shipping materials that don't have to be reboxed by a retailer. They're avoiding handling fees. It's better for the environment, and they're in full brand control throughout the journey. So the box that shows up is their box, not the retailer box. So the box decoration is up, the value to the brand is up, and the point of this whole slide is you, as a brand manager or a retailer, need to be thinking about journeys and matching your packaging to the journey in order to drive better customer experience. With all of that said, even if it's a standard journey, retailers are moving that box to also include an ad. They're licensing the outside of the box to include a printed ad that then you interact with through a QR code. And that is what Amazon and Ad Age had published in their article, saying that that's 4 times more effective than digital or mail advertising. So here are the 3 big opportunities to drive customer experience related to the journey and the packaging. 1, you can just improve the branding of your boxes in order to offer a better experience, a better unboxing experience. 2, you can leverage your SIOC box, again, ship in own container box, that are going through marketplaces to improve branding on the box and to include a call to action. We have one company that on the inside of their SIOC box, they have an ad that's a cross-promotion ad. So when you receive the box, you open the box, you scan a QR code, it takes you to a landing page for the discounted offer on an adjacent product. That has been a very effective campaign for them because 100% of your attention is focused on that ad while you're unboxing. Again, it's the connection between the box and the emotion driving loyalty and response. The third big opportunity is what I just talked about on the previous slide, is on-box advertising. So a retailer is going to brands and offering ad space on the outside of their box. And every article I'm reading right now about retail media networks, hundreds of billions of ad dollars are going to retail media networks because they're very effective in providing data to the brand that the brand can then target their ad to whatever consumer they want to target. And this is by the way, this is a unique ad channel for retailers. No other publisher has an e-commerce shipper box other than a retailer and a retail media network. So we anticipate a lot of ad spend is going to be redirected from digital to on-box ads based on the effectiveness that we're seeing with the largest retailer in the world, and that's Amazon. So, I mentioned digital packaging or digital printing on packaging. You can unlock new possibilities with digital printing. You can simply take an unbranded, boring package and turn it into a branded, delightful package with lifestyle imagery. And this is an example of a e-commerce shipper from a pet retailer. By the way, people love their pets, if you didn't know that, and they love pictures of pets on their boxes, and you can imagine the experience and the delight a consumer would have receiving the box on the right versus the box on the left. You can include variation. So with digital printing, you're allowed to have multiple design variants in a similar print run, so that if you want to reference different designs, different products, different SKUs, you can do that very easily in digital printing. You can also support your subscription service. Subscription, I read, I think last week, is set to grow to like a $72 billion business, subscription boxes. If you're a brand or a retailer and you haven't launched a subscription service, this is a unique opportunity for you to know your customer, curate products for your customer, and then deliver those products in a meaningful way, driving repeat purchases and loyalty that you can count on because they're subscribed. So digital printing allows for very unique expressions every month on your subscription box. Another thing that digital print does is called variable data printing. I don't know if you've ever heard that term, and this is difficult for you to see in the audience, but with every box, you can have a unique data field, like a name. You can have variation of imagery. So if you're sending a box to the Nordics, you can have a Christmas reference this way. If you're sending a box to Iberia, you would have a Christmas reference with beaches. This is the power of variable data printing, or you can go by language. I know a number of brands are managing languages throughout Western and Eastern Europe. You can have a design that calls on a different language, puts that language on the box, and then prints it all during the print run. And obviously, if you're in your native language, your response to a box is much higher than if you're in an English or another language reference. I mentioned on-box advertising. This is an example. So printing the ad right on the Kraft corrugated box is what digital can do. And this is just an example of a fictitious theme park running running a campaign on the boxes that are sent out to a specific region or a nation or the globe. Another important thing we're seeing in advertising is multicultural advertising. So instead of making a visual reference to one community, they want to make references to multiple communities in order, again, to make that connection, that emotional connection. So with digital printing, it's very easy for you to design a box, have multiple cultural visual references on a subset of those boxes in order to drive better engagement. We've also seen that retail is speeding up. Retail is very fast. And whether it's a limited time offer, whether it's a special event like Black Friday or World Cup, whether you have too much inventory and you want to make up something, whether an influencer has a viral moment about your product, you want to capitalize on those opportunities to drive lift or to drive volume. And digital print is a very quick and efficient way for you to design a box, get it through production, and then get it out into distribution. This is an example of ship in own container. As you can see, it's a fictitious brand. primary packaging on shelf versus secondary packaging on doorstep. And if you're concerned about theft, there's no reason why all of that branding can't be done on the inside of the box. And we're seeing SIOC, as I mentioned earlier, evolve into not only being a brand experience, but being an activation platform. So you're including an ad for an additional purpose, or you're including an ad to gather zero-party data from your consumer, okay? Another use case that I'd like to share with you is simply about communicating sustainability. So sustainability in packaging is a big deal. We're all moving away from plastics. We're trying to move into fiber-based materials like corrugated, more specifically fiber-based materials that have already been recycled. And so if that is part of your brand objective to become more sustainable, which I guarantee it is, you can not only do that, you can demonstrate or show that by printing directly onto kraft board, printing directly onto the brown corrugated box. So our printers, our digital printers, allows you to use white ink as a color or underneath in order for you to have full color impact on your box, but be very sustainable in your communication at the same time. So talking about sustainability, our digital printers have no printing plates. So the waste involved in printing plates is significant. With digital printing, all of that is removed from your supply chain. And you can grab those sustainability contributions and reference that in any sustainability report that you're putting together for your brand. Digital printing uses less energy than other traditional printing methodologies. Again, you can quantify that contribution and grab that and put that on a sustainability report. A significant part of our sustainability impact is around waste. So on analog printing technologies, there's a lot of waste in just getting the press ready to print, and then in the order quantities that you have to order in order to get to a price point. That waste is put right into a recycle chain or a landfill, and with digital printing, all of that is avoided. There's less ink used, there's no wastewater, and then finally, our inks that we use do not jeopardize the recycle chain or the repulpability chain in any way. If they're washed off and the corrugated is then put into a recycling process. So what we have told several brands is we think there's an overreaction in the marketplace right now to become more sustainable, means simplify your packaging and don't brand it at all. We feel like digital allows brands and retailers to actually brand their packaging in a sustainable way and still capture significant sustainability savings and reference that in any kind of a report, okay? EFI, we actually manufacture the printing presses, and we have customers around the world. We actually are going to be almost at 60 of these presses around the world, and most likely whomever you're buying your corrugated materials from today has one of our presses already. We're here actually co-sponsoring this event with our friends at Cap Cases. Do you want to wave your hand? And they're at booth, sorry? N03, which is right over there, and we would love to host you and have a conversation about any packaging requirements that you might have. So another opportunity for you to learn more is this microsite. If you want to take a picture, please feel free and visit that microsite. I think we're going to open it up for questions and answers in just a moment if I can get their attention. And I'd be happy to visit with you after the presentation. So questions and answers? Okay, any questions that I might be able to field right now? No questions?
My apologies if I missed the initial part of the presentation, but can you give me a couple of examples where this has delivered value, like you mentioned, specifically from EFI?
Yes, so we just completed a case study with a subscription company where they use digital printing on their subscription boxes for 3 months in a row. improved the design, improved a call to action, which included user-generated content, and overall wanted to just improve the engagement with their consumers. So the case study studied social metrics, like amplification, like reshares, follows, likes. All of those went up by double digits. It studied their subscriptions. Their subscriptions went up by 6%. Their churn rate went down by 10%. And so overall, we felt like it was a very successful case study.
And a quick follow-up question on that. Did it reduce the time taken for the packaging? Because, of course, plain packaging can be faster to generate compared to this.
Yes, it did. So as I mentioned, digital printing doesn't require plates, so that knocks off about 2 weeks worth of plate manufacturing, so you're already 2 weeks ahead. So the turnaround time for digital is very good. It's days instead of weeks to get your print job back, designed and back and into your supply chain.
Excellent.
Thank you.
I'll meet you after this.
All right, thank you. Question?
If you're not controlling the whole process, so actually you're talking about a box inside a box, right? Because for the shipment and everything. So is it good enough, or is it advised to have a box inside the box? Because the product is already a box.
Right.
So you add in one box, but
I understand. So it all depends on the journey. So if it's a direct-to-consumer journey, if that's originating on your e-commerce site, I would challenge that box, whether it's the outer box or the inner box, needs to be branded in order to give that experience and a call to action. If it's going through a marketplace like Amazon, that's why SIOC is becoming so popular, because you're avoiding the box in the box. So ship in on container, it's your box going through. Amazon charges you less to handle that order. Did that answer your question? Okay. Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you for your time, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Thank you.